camp for this meeting. And we are going to have the class until 8:30. The first is going to be a lectures and then discussion. Okay, Miss Juaida Sharifuddin, time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Novi. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. So this is be our last class, okay? So as what I have told you last week, we are going to cover the most important thing in our last class, okay? The marketing mix. So let me share my screen first. Okay. So this one, okay, you can see. All right. So for this marketing mix, okay, actually the marketing mix that is known all around the world is 4 P's. Okay, it's product, price, place, and promotion. Okay, so this is the basic 4 P that constitute marketing mix. Okay, so what it is actually, marketing mix is when you want to sell something, okay, you have to really look at this 4 P, okay, in order for you to increase the success for your product, okay. So each of the 4 P tu, you really need to take care so that whatever that you are offering to the market is going to be accepted by them and they are going to buy, okay, because the purpose of having something in the market is for consumers to buy, right? So if you look at this, first we will look at product, okay. Product is anything that can be offered in a market for attention, acquisition, use, or consumption that satisfy a need or want. That means you need to have something that suit to consumers' need or want. It's not something that you just think out of the blue. This is something that I want to offer to people. But if they are not going to need it, so nobody will buy, okay? And product is also included for services. Okay, so product is something that you can hold, you can touch, you can see, okay? Services is something that you can also sell, but you cannot see it, you cannot hold it, you cannot take it back, okay? But it is also considered under product, okay? Because this one is activities, benefits, satisfactions. So for example, when you go to university, university offers services. That means teaching, giving experience. So that one is service. You pay for that, okay? So that is also considered as product. And the other one that is new, okay, in marketing is experience. So there are companies that don't sell product and services, but they sell experience. For example, we have Universal Studio, we have Disney World. So you pay not for their service, but you pay for playing all the games inside there, okay? So you have that experience and you are happy when you go out. So that is the experience. So this is something that is new in marketing terms, okay? So these are the things that is being offered in the market: products, services, and experiences. Okay. So when you look at product, okay, you have, when you want to offer something to the market, okay, you have to look at the core customer value. What is the basic thing that consumer wants? Okay. And then you will look at the actual product, the one that you are going to invent or have that in the market. Okay, so you are going to think about the features of the brand. Okay, um, contoh ya, if you are going to sell a house, okay, so customers need house. Okay, so what are the features that they want? Whether it's one level or two level, is it bungalow or terrace house, or is it apartment? Okay, so that's the features. The design, so you will think about how the design going to look like for the people in that place. Okay, because if you are going to, I have been to Surabaya, I have been to Malang, I have been to Medan. I think the design of houses is slightly different. Okay, so you design based on what people over there wants to um, buy. Okay, how do their taste is all about for buying house. Okay, packaging. Well, you don't sell house in a box. Okay, you don't have that packaging, but packaging can be also, what is it, how do you want to give to them? For example, uh, if you are buying food, okay, are you going to sell it and give in a nice box? The box, what color of the box? Okay, do you want to give it in a box and also a plastic bag? Okay, so packaging, depending on what consumer wants, how they want to consume the food. Okay, quality level, so what is the consumer value? So you will look at the quality level based on what they want and also what they can pay for. Okay, and then the brand name. Brand name, we have discussed this before. Make sure that they can pronounce. Okay, it can be pronounced well by the consumer. It can be remembered by the consumer, and things like that. We have discussed about brand name before this. Okay, and then that is the actual product. Okay, after that, you have to look at augmented product. That means it's not about that product itself, it's surrounding it. Okay, for example, after sale service. After sale service, that means if I buy a mattress in Malaysia, tilam ya, mattress, sometimes it comes with 10-year warranty. Okay, if I buy handphone, for example, sometimes it comes with 1-year warranty. Okay, so what kind of and then that's warranty. If you buy something, are you going to have the service center after that? Okay, so what else that people can get when they buy your product? Okay, are you going to give them credit? Credit is meaning that they can pay monthly or weekly. Okay, sometimes even products, for example, in Malaysia, when they sell online, furniture or handbag, if the price is slightly higher, for example, like 800 ringgit, 1000 ringgit, sometimes they give credit. Credit, that means people can pay twice or 3 times. Okay, so might be that is something that is what the consumer search for. Okay, are you going to give the delivery? Okay, delivery free or apa ni? They have to pay for it, but at least it's going to be delivered to their house. Okay, so augmented product ni is not about the product itself. Okay, what else that you are going to give after they buy your product. Okay, so these are the thing that you need to think about, okay, to make sure that everything is synchronized so that everybody is happy when they want to buy your product. Now, the difference between product and services is service, they have these 4 characteristics. Okay, service is intangible. Like I said before this, service cannot be seen, tasted, felt, heard, or smelled before purchase. For example, you go to the barber to cut your hair. Okay, you cannot see the service. Okay, you cannot hold it. Okay, you will get the service because this. It's inseparable between the service and the service provider. Okay, when the service provider is giving the service, then you will feel it. Okay, so when the barber is cutting your hair, then you will know the service. Okay, whether then you can rate whether the service is good, the service is bad. Okay, so it's inseparability. Okay, and then variability. Quality depends on who provide them, when, where, and how. Okay, for example, even, okay, the barber just now. Even if it is the same barber, okay, giving the haircut to one customer in the morning, it's not going to be the same when he is giving the service nearly closing time. Can, if you think about it, by that time he is tired. So sometimes he just cut and then not bother to do it very nice as compared to the early in the morning. Okay, or it's like at that time he just got a phone call from his family saying that somebody died, for example. Okay, so when he gives the service, his emotion is not stable. Okay, so his service is going to be affected by that. So it's not only who is going to be giving the service will give will give different service. But even if it's the same person, it can have differences depending on his or her mood at that time. Okay, so it's not necessary that the service will going to be very standardized. Product can be standardized because product you produce the same way, the same raw materials. Okay, so not many variability there, but service there is. Okay, perishability cannot be stored for later sale or use. Okay, so you have to be there. The service will be given to you at that time. You cannot tapau. You cannot bring it home. Okay, so that is the main characteristic of service that makes it different as compared to product. Okay, so that's product. Okay, now the second P is price. After you have think about the product, what you are going to sell, how you want to package it, how do you want to sell it, what's the color of the product, what is the quality of the product. Now you have to think about the price. Okay, so price is the amount of money charged for a product or service. So how do you want to determine you are going to sell the product or service at what price? We have seen like you are going to sell mouse. Okay, so there's mouse that is very cheap, very expensive. Now, who determines whether they want to sell mouse that is cheap or middle priced or expensive ones? So how do you want to determine your price? Okay, so if we look here, price, it depends on product cost and also competition and consumer perceptions of the value of the product. Okay. Now, if you look at product cost, what is the cost of you producing one mouse? You have to know about that. What is the cost of you produce one pack of rice with ayam penyet? Okay. So what is the cost of that one box of rice with all the sambal, with all the vegetables and ayam inside there? Okay. Now, price cannot be lower than the cost, because if it's lower than the cost, then you are going to be NGO. You are going to, there's no profit for you. Okay. So where are you going to get the money for you to live? All right. So it cannot be lower than the cost. Okay. So you have the basis. So after that, then how much do you want to charge above the product cost? Okay. So sometimes it can be based on consumer perceptions of the value of your product. Katalah, the cost of producing one box of nasi tadi is, I'm giving in ringgit, is 2 ringgit. Okay. Now, that combining with the packaging of the product, that is combining. Okay. So the product cost is 2 ringgit. Might be you are selling in places where there's not many competitors. Yours is the only company that is producing that kind of rice. It's very sedap. It's very nice. And then you can deliver on time. And when you deliver, the rice is still hot. You can cater until 30 people, 50 people at one time. So people can buy, for example, they are working in office, they can buy and then they can just put your food pack, and it's easy to consume in meetings, for example. Okay, so even if the cost is 2 ringgit, including delivery and all that, still 2 ringgit. But people, the consumer really value your product. They don't mind paying 10 ringgit for it. So you can charge 10 ringgit. It's not that you are tipu pelanggan. It's not you are, what is tipu? I cannot think of the English word. Okay. But then that is the value that they want to pay. If, for example, there's another company that feels, oh, you can have a big profit by selling like this. So another competitor comes in, then it depends on the competition. Okay, then there will be 2 companies that sells the same thing. All right, then might be you have to lower your price because then the other company is offering the same thing at 6 ringgit. Might be you have to lower a bit. your price just because competition is there. Okay, so it's up to these things for you to determine the price of your product or service. Okay, when I ask people in my area, how much do you pay for barber to cut your hair for men? Okay, before this, usually they will say 5 ringgit or 10 ringgit. Okay, and then I ask the international students, the Arabs, okay, because I know Arabs, they pay a lot for barber to cut their hair. Okay, it's like, it's not basic haircut. It's they like to go to saloon. Okay, so I asked the Arab students, how much did you pay to cut your hair in Malaysia? Okay, so Malaysians cut their hair at 10 ringgit per person. Arab, they pay 25 to 30 ringgit per person, and they are very happy with that. Okay, so actually the Malaysian students were like, how come you pay so expensive? Okay, what do they do for you to pay 25 ringgit, 30 ringgit for only haircut? But it's what they value, the service. Okay, they value for that price. They go to a nice salon and they pay the price. There are people who go to very nice salon and for a haircut they pay 100 ringgit. Okay, so the price is very the range is very wide, but nobody complains because what do you want, and then how much you are willing to pay for, you go to that place. Okay, so that the competition is also different between the ones that you have to pay 10 ringgit, the ones that you are going to pay 30 ringgit, and the ones that you are paying 100 ringgit. Okay, competition is different. Different types of service that they offer. Okay, but the same thing, haircut. But you see, it's different. Okay, so pricing depends also on the place. Okay, where is your shop situated? Okay, what about the ambience of the shop? Okay, the product itself, how luxury is the product? Okay, so that is the considerations for you to set your price. Okay, if you do cost-based pricing, start with your cost and everything that is considered to come up with the product. Okay, and then how much do you want to have profit margin? So you add that up, then you will get the price. Okay, so how do you want to do value-based pricing? Is you go to the other side. Okay, the cost you know already, so make sure that the price is not below the cost. Okay, so what you do is you assess customers' need. All right, what do they need, at what quality, at how much can they pay for each of the product. Then you set the price, then you try to make sure that the cost will not be above the target price. So you set the profit margin also lah, how much that you want to make, okay, based on each of the sale of the product, and then you determine how much cost. Cost mean, that means what is the quality of raw materials that you are going to use, how big is the product going to be, because you are going to make sure that the cost is at that amount. Okay, not because you have to make sure the profit margin is there for you to survive. Okay, and then you will design the product, deliver the product at that value. So both of these will ensure whether you will have somebody paying for your product. So that means it's not actually very simple to just come up with a product and then sell it to the market. Even if you are, if for example, you think about when you are small as a children, okay? As children, when you want to sell keropok or jajan or whatever lah, you want to sell to your friend, then you bring to school a few things, and then might be some of your friends wants to buy from you. Okay, now that snacks or whatever that you are going to sell usually will depends on how much money your friends are bringing to the school. If they are not bringing that much money, you are not going to sell expensive things because you know that nobody can afford to buy your products. So that means even for a very simple product, a kid will sell at sell to his friends. They have also to think at what price that they can sell so that other people will buy it. Okay, so it's not only big things that you need to think about this. Okay, but sometimes I can see small businesses or people who are housewives, when they want to sell something, sometimes I feel that it's like they just increase the amount of work that they do, but they don't get that much from it, or they don't know that they don't receive any profit for it because they don't know the cost of producing one product, because they make it in a large amount. And sometimes they, if they cook something, for example, they want to sell food, packed food, but then they include also the things that they are cooking for their house, for their kids. So cara pengiraan, how they calculate the cost for that product is not right. So actually it's not profitable at all. Okay, so if you know somebody that is selling things, ask them to really look at actually what's the cost of per product, so that they are not doing something without getting any profit. Okay, now might be you say, because I have had this question before. Somebody asked me, Dr. Ju, is it good in Islam that you sell something to get profit? Now, if I'm not mistaken, in Islam, they don't say that you cannot sell for profit. It has to be for profit, because from that profit, you are going to live your life. Okay, it's just that you cannot have profit that will tindas, that that will take advantage of the consumers. That one cannot. Okay, but whatever that you are selling and all that, memang as business you have to get profit. But how much, the amount of profit that you are going to get from your product too, it cannot be penalizing the consumers. Okay, so price adjustment, so it's up to you after that to adjust the price, okay, to make sure that people are going to buy. Okay, either you want to have discount or allowance pricing. Okay, who buy one pack of food, this is the price. If you buy 5 or more, you get more discounts. So up to you to have this price adjustment. Okay. Segmented pricing. Sometimes when people from other places buy your product, might be even if in Malaysia, when people from Semenanjung, Peninsula Malaysia wants to buy product, the price is a bit lower as compared to Sabah Sarawak, because Sabah Sarawak you have to send the product, fly it or using ship, so the cost increase. Okay, so might be in Indonesia is the same thing. Okay, if you are producing in Surabaya, for example, you want to send it to Medan, so it's far away, might be the price is different. Okay, psychological pricing ni, we don't do that much in Malaysia. We do it, but it's not the same as what they do in US. In US, they will sell $2.99, $2.99. So people will see, will feel that they are paying $2 for that product. Actually, it's just 1 cent lower from $3. Okay, but you feel that you are paying $2. Okay, so Malaysia, we do it, but we don't do $2.99 lah. We do it two ringgit 90 cent, because we don't use 1 cent that much. Okay, so I think it's the same in Indonesia also. So you are trying to, it's just psychological things that you do to make people think like they are paying less. Actually, it's not less. It's just the way that you are seeing is you feel good. Okay, sometimes if you want to buy a pack of milk, okay, a box of milk, okay, the price is $4.99. $4.99 is not 4 ringgit, it's actually 5 ringgit. But then, you know, when you want to buy something, you look at it, you will say, oh, this is 4 ringgit, it's cheap. Okay, you will take it more. Okay, so this is psychological pricing. Okay, promotional pricing like sale is temporary. Okay, geographical pricing, this one also is part of segmented pricing. Dynamic and personalized pricing based on your customer. Sometimes you feel that this is your loyal customer, you give different price. Okay, international pricing, adjusting price to international market. This one, of course, it's based also on the how far it is from your country. Okay, so you are going to add more shipping cost. Okay, so these are types of price adjustment that you can do to make sure that your pricing too is attractive to the consumers. Okay, now that's two piece already. Okay, product and price. Now we are getting towards marketing channel, the place. Okay, the place is where you are selling the product. Okay, so you have to think about that. Okay, now if you look at this, if you want to sell to every customer, then actually it's not effective and it's not efficient for you to do that. Just think about you as a consumer. Okay, you are a student. Okay, you want to buy pencil, you go to the pencil company. You want to buy a pencil box, you go to the pencil box producer. You want to buy what you call that, stapler, you go to the stapler producer. and then you need shoe, you go to the shoe producer. So it's not efficient at all, and it will increase your cost tremendously. Okay, so what we do is usually we try to make all the producers go to one distributor. Okay, so this distributor will have all of these things in their shop, so customers can go to one place and buy all this. Okay, so that is better, that is more cost efficient. Okay, that will reduce the price so much. Okay, so this is what they are thinking about how to ensure that you have efficient costing in selling your product to the consumers. Okay, so that's why actually we have middlemen. It's that there's one time when in Malaysia, they were saying that middleman is not good, especially to farmers. Okay, because middleman will pay very little to the farmers, and then they will increase the price very much and sell it to the consumers. So consumer pay high price, but farmers get very small price, small money. Okay, small amount of money. So they say that middleman is not good. Okay, but then from my point of view, middleman is good because farmers don't have time to search for consumers. If you can think about Malang, for example, Malang produce apple, but if all the farmer can only find consumers in Malang to buy their apples, is it enough consumers there that wants to buy their apple? And at what price? Might be it's going to be very cheap. So you need somebody to bring all these apples to somewhere else, okay? And they can pay higher price. But might be you need to control the middleman so that they don't pay too low to the farmers. Okay, so this actually what I feel, okay, about middleman. Middleman is needed. It's just that you have to regulate them to make sure that they don't penalize the farmers. At least farmers will get the price that is the logic price for them. Okay, not too small. Okay, not it has to compensate their cost and also make them they can live with what they produce. Okay, so okay, now how do you want to make sure your product received at the end to the consumers? Okay, you can sell directly to the consumer. Okay, for example, you look at a specific shop like Nike, Adidas, their own shop. So that means they are the producer and they are selling direct to the consumer. Okay, producer sell to retailer, retailer to the consumer. For example, you look at hypermarket. Okay, you have Alphamart. Okay, so producer will sell things to Alphamart and consumer will go to Alphamart to buy products that they need. Okay, or you can also sell to wholesaler in big bulk. Okay, wholesaler will distribute to retailer, smaller shops, and then retailer to consumer. Okay, so these are whatever channels that you want to pick and choose. Okay, But usually, when you have indirect channel like this, each of the level will increase the profit margin. Okay, so they will take a percentage to get their profit margin, and then from wholesaler to retailer, they will have also percentage. So the price will increase. Okay. If it is in Japan, the level of this, the layer of channel ni is very, there's so many channels. Okay, so when it reach the consumers, the price is very high. That's why it's very expensive for you to buy in Japan. But they are okay with that because that is the way they live. So each of, you can imagine each of the layer, that means there are jobs for all these people. Okay, so they are like that. So it depends whether in Malaysia or Indonesia, which one is better for your company. All right, so you can choose either of this. So this is for consumers, this is for business, business clients. Okay, but it's the same. How many channels that you want to have to get your product to the consumer. Okay. Sometimes when you do this, you as the producer, you don't have the brand. Okay. Sometimes you just sell your product to the wholesaler. Wholesaler will repack your product into smaller packaging, and then might be they are going to put their own brand. Okay, or they're going to sell to the retailer, retailer will put their brand, then after that it goes to the consumer. Okay, so if it's like this, producer direct to consumer is going to be your brand. Okay, so if you want to control what consumer received, at what quality, at what price, and if they have any problem, they are going to contact you directly. So you are going to choose this one. Okay. The fourth P is promotion. Okay. What time is it actually? Okay.
7:50.
Still have lots of time. Okay. Now, the promotion mix is the last of the 4P, specific blend of promotion tools that the company uses to persuade. Okay, actually it's going to persuade you to buy their product. Okay, and then sometimes promotion is the way for you to increase the consumer's value of your product. For example, why do you think people spend so much money on certain brand? Sometimes the quality is the same as other brands too, okay, but you are paying very expensive price for that brand. Sometimes what the company have to do is to make sure that they are selling to people at the higher class. Okay, so people at the lower class will not be able to afford it. Okay, so that's why I said the cost sometimes is not going to be that expensive, but then you have to portray your product in such a way that people say that this is only for the rich people. So that's where you can charge higher price. That is not based on your cost, it's based on your value. Sometimes you look at examples that I want to give is harder now because this generation, they don't watch TV anymore. You watch Netflix, you watch social media, you watch YouTube. So Okay, so actually, this social media, it makes you look at advertisement that is according to your needs. Okay, um, before this, it's using television or radio. It's blasting to everybody. Okay, now what the differences between promotions with the social media, digital marketing, all this, it's what you like to click. Then they will analyze that, what you like to view, what you like to click, and then they will channel the products that is suitable for you for your viewing. So it's very focused. So you are not going to see, if you are not, if you don't like to go fishing, so there will not be any advertisement on fishing product to you, to your YouTube, to your Facebook, to your Insta. It's not going to be there. But if you always click about K-pop, okay, so all the advertisements about K-pop, the product, Korean food will be at your social media that you use. Okay, so that's why sometimes if you can, try to look at your friends' phone. Sometimes their advertisement is very different than the advertisement that you get. Okay, so it depends on what you always look at, what you always search. Okay, there are times when the promotion right now is, there are times when I did not search for anything yet. I did not Google, I did not, I haven't have the time to search online. But I tell my friend that I said, oh, I think my bahu hurts, so I need something. I need to buy something. Okay, to make sure I feel comfortable after this. And then suddenly after that, I open my Facebook and there's advertisement on something lah, for ointment ke something like that for me to use. I was like, how come? They can listen to you, okay? When you tick, you say agreed, because they can use your microphone. So they can listen to what you are saying. So isn't that something that scary for you? I think it's scary, okay? I think it's scary when I did not even search. I just have conversations about that, but suddenly the advertisement appear, okay, in my social media. So no wonder they can trace you anywhere. Okay, so that is aside lah. Okay, so promotion is like that. Okay, how do you want to make sure the product that you are selling will be known by potential consumer, and they will have the tendency to find your product and buy your product. The main thing is buying. Okay, so this is the thing, that the tools that you use to communicate your product to the consumers. Okay, you can do it by advertising. Advertising is the main thing that you are going to use actually. Now, advertising, like I said just now, it's very different from before. If you want to advertise using TV channels, you really have to think about how it can reach your potential consumers. Because during my time, when I'm small kid, okay, the channel in Malaysia only 3 channels. channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. So everybody is watching TV. Okay, so you pay very expensive to advertise using TV. Okay, now in Malaysia we have, like Indonesia, hundreds of channel. Okay, with these hundreds of channel, which channel that you want to choose to make sure the potential consumer will see your advertisement? And then at what time do you want to pay for that, for your advertisement to appear at the TV channel? Okay, how many times in a day that your advertisement going to appear? Okay, so you have to think about that. If you want to use newspaper, before this is okay, but now if I ask the class, how many of you read newspaper? My class in Malaysia, nobody put up their hand. Okay, they only read if it appears on their Insta or Facebook. That means somebody share the news, then only they know. They will not go and buy newspaper. They will not subscribe online newspaper. So if you have your advertisement in that newspaper, who are going to see it? So you have to think about that. Might be people that age 40 and above, they still pay for newspaper. So if you are targeting young people, you will not put advertisement in newspaper anymore. Okay, so these are the things yang something that you have to think about when you want to promote your products. Okay, now in Malaysia is very, it's not is very, but considerably low price to advertise in TV channels, because not many people are watching TV. The ones that watch TV is older people like me, still watch TV. Okay, but my kids, which is your age, they don't watch TV that much unless it's movie, but they can watch it in Netflix. So they products that are targeting to young people, they don't use TV for advertisement. Okay, so you have to, so it's cheap now to advertise in TV. Even SME can advertise their products in TV channels. Before this is no, TV channels is only for large companies. SME cannot afford to pay. Okay, now SME also can have segments actually in TV for their commercials. Okay, now advertising, it's not only big things like using TV, using social media, things like that. It's also if you have flyers printed on paper and then you just distribute to one housing area, that is also advertising. So you can do that. If you are very small companies, you want people to just know that you are there, you are selling things. So you can tell these people in certain area that you are selling what, at what price, where can they go and buy. So you can have that. Okay, it's not only through YouTube, through TV, through radio, broadcasting. So it's not only the big things, but advertisement using very simple like flyers, half A4. You can have that, okay, as your advertisement. Sales promotion is having people at the supermarket, might be standing there and give samples, give promotions. Okay, might be if you go to buy things, they will be there and say, if you buy 50 ringgit of this product, you can get free gift. Okay. Other than that, you can have, you buy this and free this. Okay. You get free things, you get free gifts, you buy like two or more, you will get different price. So that are sales promotion that you can do, okay, to make sure that people buy your product. Okay. The direct and digital marketing is the ones that I told you from YouTube, IG, Facebook. Okay. Um, uh, Previously, why we don't have that much of direct and digital marketing? Because not many are using internet. Okay. But now the amount of people using internet is high, and internet also is not that expensive as compared to before. Okay. um, and also direct and digital marketing ni will not be uh, an effective way for you to market your product unless there is delivery service. Okay, in Malaysia, I believe the digital marketing is very, very good right now, is because uh, they have improved delivery service. Okay, so that means it's not about your company only. It depends on the facilities given by other companies. Okay, because sometimes in Malaysia, when you click buy today, this evening, it will come to you, somebody will deliver to you the next morning. So that is for sometimes it's between states. You can reach it, the things can reach you in less than 1 day. But if you buy food, for example, it can reach you immediately. So it depends on the services provided by the service delivery service, okay, which will ensure direct and digital marketing will be effective. If not, then people will not use this. Okay. Okay. Public relations is also a marketing communications. Public relations ni is making sure that people have positive feeling about your company. Okay. For example, in Malaysia, we have Milo. You drink Milo kan? Milo from Nestle, right? Okay, Milo, what they do is they always go to schools from primary schools when they have sports or they have any events. Milo will send their truck there. Sometimes they give for free. Okay, they want people to start from young. They have the taste for Milo. Okay, so when they getting bigger, they will search for Milo and they will buy Milo for their own consumption. So they start from there. Okay, we have Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi is a Japanese company. They always they have this yearly activity with UPM for planting trees. Okay, so this is also, it has nothing to do with what they are selling, but they show people that they care about the environment. So sometimes for people who are very environmentalist, okay, they care about the environment, they will go and support and buy things from this kind of company. So that is PR. You do something so that people have positive feeling towards your company. So by doing that, when they want to buy something, instead of going to other competitors, they will go to you to buy your product. So that is public relations. Okay. Personal selling, um, like certain brand, they don't have shops. They have personal selling. That means salespeople will sell that product directly to the consumers. For example, Amway, Avon, we have Huawei, the water filter. They don't have specific place, or they don't just sell their product, put it in the hypermarket, and then people will go and buy. No, they have personal salespeople so that they will explain about the product to the consumers. They will sell, they will log the sales, they will give service after that to the consumers. Okay, maknanya they will take care of their all their customers. Okay, so that is personal selling. But you must make sure that the people in that area, the area that you want to sell your things, is okay with salesmen. Okay, because right now I'm seeing that generation Z ni, the young people don't interact too much with each other. You don't talk to each other. You text, you WhatsApp. Okay, so you don't like to talk face to face with other people. So you can imagine if salesman comes to you to wants to tell you about certain things. Sometimes there are people who are uncomfortable. They don't like to see salesperson. Like if you are walking and then you see somebody is selling things in front of you, you go and walk the other way. Okay, because you don't want people coming to you to sell something. So personal selling ni, it's really needs people with certain skill. Not everybody can be salesperson. I cannot. Okay, so um, it have to be, it has to be something yang suitable for the for the potential consumers, and also you have to look at who is the people that you are going to target at. So what is the extra service that you are going to give when you do personal selling? Because personal selling is very expensive. You have to have many salesmen to increase your sales. Okay, so this is very expensive. You need to pay many salesperson. Okay. So this is direct and digital marketing. Okay, so you will have online marketing, websites, online advertising, you email people, but email ni, the problem is usually it will go to the junk mail. Kita ada spam, we have junk mail. So make sure, how do you want to make sure your email will not fall in the junk mail? So that is something that you have to think about. Okay, online videos, blogs. Blogs people don't use. No, not many people use blog right now. Okay, social media marketing, mobile marketing. When sometimes you use handphones, okay, you receive SMS from companies, you will wonder how they get your number. Okay, so how these companies can send SMS to you? Sometimes it's not SMS, it's WhatsApp. Okay, so I receive WhatsApp for right now. I don't know how, but all these illegal games, apa ya you panggil judi, all these are from abroad. It's not Malaysian number, but I do receive that in my handphones. So this, they are trying to get consumers based on digital marketing. So this is digital, and compared to the traditional ones, face-to-face, direct mail. Direct mail ni, I'm sure Malaysia and Indonesia is the same. It's not that much because it's very hard for you to find people address and names for you to send brochures to all the houses. Okay, but direct mail ni is very much used in US, UK, Europe. So if you are living in US and UK, but not now lah, about 10 years ago, okay, your mailbox will be full of brochures from companies. Okay, they will mail. But now because printing is getting more expensive and people are saying that it's not environmental friendly, so not many people are using direct mail anymore. Catalog marketing, you have catalogs, okay. Telemarketing also is not being used that much in Malaysia because right now we are not picking up phones from number that we don't know because so many scams, okay. So telemarketing is not being used in Malaysia. Direct response TV marketing, we have channels that only for selling stuff. That means in that channel, they show how to use certain things. They show for one product, half an hour. So show all the things about that product and then they will receive calls. People will call and buy, okay, or buy online through their websites. So that is something that is new. I think how many channels for selling product? I think about 10 channels. So in UK, they have channels that sell jewelry. There are channels that are selling big products like furniture. They have all that, okay. But in Malaysia, we still don't sell jewelry, rings, all these barang emas. We don't sell through TV yet lah, okay. But in US, UK, they do all that, okay. All right. Kiosk, instead of having the shop, okay, you want to rent at higher price, you can have just kiosk, small kiosk. So that is relatively cheaper price, but you can have it at mall, okay. So that is for SMEs. Communication, okay. Now sender is you, okay. You have to encode your message. How do you want to have your message delivered to the consumers, the receiver, okay. So sometimes what you intend to tell the consumers is different as what the consumer understand because it depends on their decoding of that message, okay. So that's why when you want to do advertisement ke, sales promotion ke, make sure that you ask a pool of people, for example, like 10 people, what they, from different background, what they understand about your advertisement, okay, before you send it out to the potential consumers, because hopefully they don't understand differently or as compared to what you intend the message to be, okay. So it is advisable that you get feedback from the consumers to ensure that they understand what you are telling them, okay. For example, I always give this example in class. Baby food, okay. Baby food in jar, the one that they sell in supermarkets, okay. They have the sticker, the label the apa ni, selalunya lukisan baby, okay, and then they will put what's the ingredients, okay, the taste of that baby food and all that. Okay, in Malaysia, there is no problem selling baby food, okay, but in certain countries that is have high illiteracy, okay, there's so many people that is not that doesn't go to school, they don't learn that much, okay, knowledge is very low, they don't buy, okay. So before they get their feedback, the company get their feedback, they were wondering why the people over there is not buying baby food, okay, until they ask the consumers, why are you this is the product from our company, is it good? And they said yes, it's good, but why don't you buy? And the feedback that they get is that people don't buy because they see the picture of the baby in front of the bottle. They thought that the companies kill babies, blend the baby, and then put in the bottle. Tahu? And this is something that we think that it's not masuk akal. It's not something that people can think of, but it happens. Tahu? Bukan company to kill babies. That is baby food made from vegetables ke, chicken ke, okay? But the people, the potential consumer in that place don't understand. They have different perceptions of the product. So you really need to make sure that your communication process is good, so that whatever you intend to promote, to say to the potential consumer is understood as the same. Okay, so that is the communication process is very, very important, especially look at your advertisement, your sales promotion, and all that, the previous ones that we have talked about, because there's noise. Okay, for example, if you print in your advertisement in newspaper, the noise bukan bunyi bising, but it's not the noise that disturb your advertisement. Sometimes it's because newspaper it's on papers, kan? And then it will be printed. And then sometimes when you close the newspaper, when you open it, the ink transfer between this page to this page. So if you have your advertisement here, might be the product, the picture of your product, the color stamping is not good. So it does not attract consumers to buy your product just because ink transfer between pages. Okay, so that is also considered noise. Okay, and your promotion can be pull or push. Okay, how do you push your promotion? Is your you as a producer, you you push your product to the retailer, make sure retailer wants to hold your product, and then they will advertise to the consumers. So, or producer, you advertise in TV or you advertise from the using the social media or whatever, and then consumer will want to buy your product. They will search your product. Okay, that is pushing the product to the consumer. Full strategy is producer marketing activities. You directly, instead of this, you push your product to the retailer, and the retailer have the promotions to the consumers. Okay, then the consumer will buy. This one, producer will produce the advertisement and then directly to the consumer. Then the consumer will search for the product in all the supermarkets. So with this demand, the retailer will demand the product from the producers. Okay, so whichever way it's okay. Okay, as long as the product comes to the consumer and they will want to buy. Okay. Now, this is the last piece of my slide. Okay. Now, this is 7P. Before this, I have covered product, place, price, and promotion. Okay. Now, the 7P is additional 3P, which is physical environment, process, and people. This 3 additional P comes for service marketing. Service marketing also have this 4P, but you also need to take care of people. People meaning the culture, the management, the service provider. You have to take care of them because they are the ones who are giving the service to the consumer. So for example, like before I'm talking about barber giving haircut, that means you need to hire good barber, good good barber that can give good haircuts to people. Okay, sometimes good haircut tu one thing, tapi perangai is the behavior of the barber. Sometimes also is taken into account. Okay, there are people who likes to talk very harsh. Okay, even though he can give a good service, but because of his character, his behavior, the way he interacts, communicate with people is very bad. So sometimes company will not take this kind of people because it makes consumers go away, go to other competitor. All right. So you have to take care of the people that is working in your company because they are going to give the service. Okay. Process. How are services consumed? Okay. So for example, you've been to restaurants that is self-service. Self-service, that means you have to go to the counter, you order yourself, you pay there, you get the food and you bring the food to the table. Then you eat. Okay. So either you want to do self-service or you want to have consumer come to your restaurant, they are seated and then your you will have your worker go to them, take orders and then send the food to them, and then after eating you will go to the counter and pay. Or more exclusive, they don't have to go to the counter and pay. Your people will go there and give the bill and then take the money from them. That means consumer don't have to stand up. So what kind of process that you want to have in your company in giving the service to the consumers? Okay, so you have to decide on that. So based on people, process, actually this will determine what price you are going to price your service at. Physical environment pun depends, okay, because mungkin at the price that you charge, the physical environment has to be very nice because the price you charge is very, very expensive. So you need to have good ambience, okay. Tapi restaurants ni, it combines two things, product and services, okay. It's like McDonald's and KFC, okay. If you want to differentiate between these two, both are fast food restaurants, okay. But usually the service provided by McD is very different than KFC. Okay, usually McD is higher level. The quality of service is higher than KFC. So might be the differences is in the service that they provide, and then the food quality too, it's on the product. Okay, so they have both service and product. That's why you can bring back the product. You can bungkus. You can bring back the food. Okay, that's the product. But the service is when you are there to buy. Okay, so restaurants is combination of product and services. Okay, so they have more things that they need to take care of. Because you have been to restaurants kan yang the waiter really kita kata apa macam biadab. So after that only one time you go to that restaurant, even though the food is very nice but the service is not good, or you have to wait for 1 hour to get your food. So it's combination of food and the product and service that ensure the success of the restaurants. Okay. So for service, you have 7P. Okay. For products, you have 4Ps. You don't have people, process, and physical environment. Right? So that's it for my lecture. Anything that you want to ask?
Okay, thank you very much for the lecture, Miss Dr. Joyda Sarifudin. Now it's time for Q&A. Okay, please, if you have a question, you can address directly to our lecture here. Silakan.
Excuse me, ma'am, may I ask a question?
Okay, Irisian, please.
Between competition or external factors, there are consumer perception. From these two, which one will affect the price more, ma'am? Thank you.
Between competition
And consumer perception.
consumer perceptions. Okay. Which one is giving more weight for pricing?
Yes, ma'am. Affect the price more.
That is also depending on the thing that you asked last week, whether it's in the very competitive market or monopolized market. So that will be based for the competition. Okay. If, for example, if you are in a market that is very highly competitive, then your price cannot be too much different from your competitors, unless you can tell the consumers that you have different things that you can offer with your product or service. Okay, then you can price differently from the competitor. People will go and search for your product even though you are pricing it at higher price because of these differences. Okay, the consumer value is important if you want to price it very high compared to the cost. Okay, because you have to make the consumer feels that it's worth paying for your product. Okay, even though your cost is low for producing that product, but if the consumer feels that it's very good, the services that you give is very good, it will take them to another level or something So that is actually something, but you have to produce some advertisement or you have to do things first to make sure that consumers have these perceptions of your product. So you have to spend more to to increase the value of your product in consumers' mind. It's not that easy, okay? But if you are able to do that, for example, like all these branded perfume, branded bags, they are using famous artists to promote their product or to have them in their advertisement. So you have to create this sense of value so that the consumer will pay higher for your product as compared to the competitors. So it's very, very important that the artist that you pay is the ones that is being dipuja yang the consumer, your target consumer tu, they really like that artist. Then only it will determine the success of your product. If the artist and your target market is not matched, okay, might be your target market is not going to buy your product. Okay, so value to you have to determine how to set that value in the customer's mind. Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, Alivian, I hope that it answers your question. Okay, so my question nowadays, Miss Juaida, because we are in COVID-19 pandemic, so do you think that the one of 4P that is placed is the same factors that is important to be considered for all business owners than before in the previous year before the pandemic? What is your opinion about that?
Yes, actually, this pandemic really changed on how we buy products on
Mm-hmm.
the consumer side and how the companies are selling their product. Because, for example, Indonesia don't have any um, what you call that, movement control order. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can still go out, you can still buy at the shops, but
Yeah.
Malaysia, like what I am having right now, I have
Mm-hmm.
at home and I cannot go out from my house if it's not important. Okay, so people are not going to the mall, people are not going to the shops. Okay, so they it really reduced the number of people going out to buy products. So what I, because from March until May, we cannot go out at all. Tau.
Yeah.
At that time, only one person per car. And then at that time, they have time limit, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. After that, you cannot go out at all. So after May, we have opened up. We can go to work. So
Mm-hmm.
after May tu, I went to this service center for car, and it has two level. I went to the first, the second level. I saw that they don't take care of the second level. So I asked, what happened here? How come you did not, you know, you don't put your product properly in the second level?
Yeah.
Because they are the second level, they put the product that is for delivery to other to the consumers.
Mm.
They also even if it is a car service center, the parts too, they are selling online, and they have to have place for them to pack their product and send to the postage. And then you know, these are the things that they have to do to make sure that they have sales. And
Right.
then another one is we have more shopping spaces, apps. We have Shopee, we have Lazada, we have
Yeah.
Alibaba and all that. And also other companies are going to set up more apps like this, because this is to cover that distribution center tu. And I've been to Japan. They have all this before the COVID-19. So I've been to Japan. I go to this one company that other SMEs send their product to this macam warehouse, and then consumer order products. Then this company, because they have all the products in their warehouse, they will put everything in one box, and then they will send postage for that box. So this is something yang changing in the
Changing.
right now. Okay, so instead of one seller packing everything for to sell to send to the consumer, it's like putting it in the same warehouse with other products so that they can be combined. And
Okay.
platform like Shopee, Lazada and all this, they also have promotions like free delivery. That means when you pay for your product, you don't even have to pay for that delivery. So it's like free lah,
Yeah.
free at your house, and then the product will come. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, like me, I have many cats at my house, not in my house, around my
Okay.
house. So I give food to them. Okay. So instead of me going to the shop buying cat food in cans, kan berat. Okay, it's very apa ni, berat kan. So I just buy online, don't pay delivery charges. They will come and send two apa ni, packaging, okay, dua kotak atau tiga kotak, and it's very heavy. So it will come directly to my house. So
Wow.
very it's changing right now. Okay. But the only thing is that sometimes because of this change, some products is not ready yet to be delivered by the middleman, because sometimes I see perishable food, for example, food, okay, food usually they have good packaging, but perishable product like fruits, sometimes fruits too, because they have many places that they want to send. By the time when it's at the shop, it's okay, it's good. But by the time it reach the consumer's house, the food tu macam mangga,
Yeah.
they just take all these apa ni, fruits or vegetable that is very apa ni, it's hard to handle. This one have to be think again on how to package to make sure that when it reach the consumer, it is still good
Fresh.
in
Yes,
the
it's good.
because when we at the shop, we picit, we pegang,
Yeah.
we try everything first, then only we buy. And then we take it like very carefully in our motorbike or in our car. But when it is delivered by somebody to many places, sometimes they just put on top of each other. So by the time it reach the consumer, it's not good anymore.
Yeah.
Tomatoes, you know, things
Yeah.
like this.
See that fresh. not fresh
It's not
anymore.
fresh anymore.
But obviously lost. Maybe it's not as fresh as before. You
Mm.
know, like fruit sometimes there is something broken or yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
if
Okay.
we go to the shop ourselves, if it's broken, we don't take.
Yeah, yeah. But we
And
cannot do
then
anything if it is about delivery. We just
yes,
the only thing that we can do is just complain by telling the
ah,
rating not five or only four, like
yes.
that.
So
Okay.
that's some things that um the shop owner have to think about, because if it happens many times, then people will not buy from them anymore. They will go
Yeah.
competitors.
Mm-hmm.
So shop owner have to think about how to deliver the product to the consumers, but not charge delivery that high. But the time it reach the consumer, it's still good. So
Mm-hmm.
very hard because most shop owner are small companies.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
they need to think about all this.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Is there any question more? Two more questions before we end this lesson.
I wanna
Question or
ask.
maybe yeah from
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
ma'am, I wanna ask about personal selling. Is personal selling effective to use to reach all of the customer of the product, or it just can be used in some area of the customer? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so when you are talking about personal selling, you really have to look at the first one, the one that we talk about market segmentations and target marketing. Okay, because personal selling is, like I said, very expensive because you have to pay the salary of your salesperson. So that's why salesman, if after this you want to work and be salesperson, your salary is going to be low, but you will have commission. Commission is based on your sales. That means you have salary plus commission. Commission will differentiate between you and your other salesperson, because that is depending on how good you can push your product to the customers. Okay, so it really have to you really have to target your consumers, and make sure that you know where to send your salespeople. Okay, because um, sometimes in certain place where you see salespeople, they cannot even get one sales phone per day because people at that place are very busy. Okay, they cannot wait until you finish your presentation or explanation, then only they continue with their journey. So that's why salespeople mostly they put at the malls, at the supermarket, okay, at hypermarket, but they cannot put salespeople at places like um, subway ke, or railway, because people are in the move. They don't want to wait to hear your presentation, explanation about products. Okay. Even if you have your sales people going to restaurants, restaurants is the place where they want to eat, not listen to, even though they have to wait for their food, usually they want to talk to their friends, not listening to your presentation. So you have to think about all this when you want to do personal selling. Uh, and also based on places lah. Sometimes it's not suitable for personal selling. Might be you have to. That's why macam Avon in Malaysia, before this it's only personal selling, but right now Avon also have shop. physical shop that people can go there and buy product without having another salesperson to explain or push their product to the consumer. Okay, so they have to add selling by shop as compared to previously only personal selling. So it depends. Okay.
Okay, one more short question only. Ada?
Uh, I want to ask a
Hana?
question, ma'am.
Yes, please.
In some tourism spot like Bali and other area, I see many local seller often sells their product at a different and also higher price to the foreigners rather than to the local tourists. Is this defined as an international pricing or not? And what do you think about it? Is it good for the business or not? Thank you.
Okay. For tourist spot, that one, I consider that as not international pricing, that is segmentation pricing, because you sell differently to local people and to tourists. Okay. Now, it's good or it's bad. I think tourists have already accepted that. Okay, because um if they don't want to buy, they won't buy. If they think the price is okay, because sometimes for tourists ni, places like Malaysia and Indonesia, even if we say it's expensive, to them it's cheap because of their currency. Okay, if like for example when they want to eat, okay, when they want to eat in their country, they have to spend $5 per uh, per packet of food, for example lah. Okay, no, it's not $5. Katalah 8, okay, $8. Okay, by the time they go to Malaysia or Indonesia, they convert the price. It's only $1 or $2 each time they eat. That is after you have increased your price. Okay, so local people might feel that it's expensive, but because you have the same currency, but for the tourists, they don't feel that it's expensive. That's why they can pay and they are willing to pay because they are only going to be there for 4 days, 5 days, and then after that, they are not there anymore. So they will bring that experience back to their country. So usually, uh, sometimes, uh, okay, for example, like if we go to their country, we will know that we when we calculate the exchange rate, we will know that we will not buy. Okay, even if we go to Singapore, Singapore is very expensive because the exchange rate. So what we do is instead of buying at the tourist spot, you go to the supermarket. You go to the supermarket and buy things that cannot be bought at your country but can be bought there, and then buy that as souvenir. And sometimes keychain or whatever the gift to the gift that you can buy at the supermarket, the price is very very low as compared to the tourist spot. So that means tourists ni they they buy depending on how much they can spend. So that's why in Malaysia also, when you go to tourist spot, you can see that the price that they sell to the foreigners, to the international tourists too, is very expensive, but then it's still being bought by the tourists. And if you try to increase the price too much and feel that the sales is very, very low, then you will adjust your price, go back down until people will buy again. That's why at the end of the day, you can see tiba-tiba dia kata buy 5, I give you this price. But at the early morning, they will give more expensive price. But you know, this kind of pricing is the main thing is that the price is not lesser than the cost. So that is how you want to make sales. Okay, so I don't think that it's tipu pelancong, tipu tourist, but it's actually, it depends on them too. If they want to buy, they buy. You are not tak ada paksaan, apa? You don't force them to buy. Okay, it's not like if you don't buy, you cannot go out from here. Okay, so that one cannot.
Okay, so I hope that it answer your question, Bagus Saputro, and that was all of the lecture today. Thank you for Dr. Juaida Sarifuddin from UPM, and for international class. The 3-in-1 program that is in your class will still be continued, because after this there will be another lecture from industry, so we know everything from this lesson that value of product is the most important thing to be considered. But instead of thinking about product, marketing is still number one that is needed to be considered. We have learned so much from Ms. Joeda's lecture today about marketing mix. We would like to say thank you. And after 3-in-1 program for international class, we still have the capacity building and short webinar. So class, please do not miss the international webinar also. Okay, so that was all of the class today. Thank you very much for Dr. Juwaida Sarfuddin, and also all of you who has attend this class. I'll see you again for the next occasion. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and bye-bye.
Hi, thank you very much
Thank
for coming to
you.
my class.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. We will see you again on the webinar.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, class.
Kayak saya hilang ya sumpah. Ya apa gitu.